A Sudoku puzzle with only one given? That's right, and we're going to solve it today. This is a Sudoku variant called between 1 and 9 or 1 to 9 Sudoku. And the way it works is you've got all these digits outside of the grid, and these digits here tell you the sum of all the digits between the 1 and the 9 in the rows, and these digits do the same for columns. So what you need to do is try and figure out, how many spaces there are between the 1 and the 9, how many digits go between there. Some of them are a dead giveaway, like the 4 here. There can only be one digit. You can't have 2 and 2 between the 1 and 9, or else you'd have two 2's in the same container. This 0 right here, that means the 1 and the 9 are together with no digits in between them. This 2 means there's only a 2 between the 1 and the 9. Now other ones like this 23 or this 32, they're going to have more than 1 or 2 digits in between the 1 and the 9. Now we need to watch and try and figure out what's going on between the two numbers, but we can also look at the numbers outside of 1 and 9. If you take the sum of all the digits between 1 and 9, 1 through 9, the sum is 45. So in cases like 15 right here, we've got 15 between 1 and 9, we've got a 1 and 9 by itself, so that's 25. And so we have 40, the sum of the digits outside the 1 and 9 is 20, because 15 plus 10 is 25, plus 20 is 45. Here's a 33, so the sum is 33 between 1 and 9. The 1 and 9 is 10, that's 43, so the sum is 2 outside of the 1 and 9. Okay. And we'll take advantage of all these things while we solve this. Now I'm going to use a pencil, and I'm also going to do what I normally don't do, and I'm going to write in candidates, probably more like the Snyder method than writing in all of the candidates, but this will help because this can get kind of tricky. Well, let's get going on it. Let's just look at that 33 here. That means that 33 plus 10, that's 43, so there's only two counts outside of the 1 and 9. And as we know from this example here, you can only have one digit with a value of 2, or the sum of 2. So the 2 has to be either here or here. So that means this is either a 1 or a 9 right here, and the 2 is here, or this is a 1 or a 9 and the 2 is here. So this can either be, these two cells can be 1 or 9, and these two cells can be 1 or 9. And that's all we know so far. If that's a 2, we'd have a 1 or 9 here and a 1 or 9 here. If that's a 2, we'd have a 1 or 9 here and a 1 or 9 here. All right, let's look at this 32. That's only one number off, and that means there's 3 outside of the 1 and 9. So that means, and again, like the 2, we can only have one digit with the sum of 3. So a 3 has to be either here or here. And then we've got a 1 or a 9 here, and here, or here and here. But in this case, we can't have a 1 and 9 here, because we've already got 1 and 9s here on the ends, so we know that's a 3. So we can put in a 3, and I'll use a pen to mark the permanent numbers, and we know that this is a 1 or a 9, and this is a 1 or a 9. All right, now let's look at this 4 right here. The 4 has to be either here or here. You can only have a 4. You can't have 1 and 3 because we've already got the 1. You can't have 2 and 2 because then we'd have 2 2s in the container. So the 4 has to be either here or here. And if the 4 is here, then we'd have a 1 or a 9 here. And that wouldn't work because we've already got one of the 1 9s here and 1 here. So we know this has to be a 4 right there. So now we know that this is a 1 or 9, and this is a 1 or 9, and we've got a 1 here. So we can put in a 9 there and a 1 there. We can put a 9 there. Okay, now we've got 32, sum of 32 in between here. We can't solve those yet. Okay, let's look at this 2. This is either has to be 1 2 9 or 1 2 9, right? It can't be 1 2 9 this way or this way because there's a 9 here already. Or I'm sorry, can't be that way anyway because this is in this row. Now we can't have a 9 here because we've already got a 9, so we know the 2 is there and the 9 is there. Okay, let's look at this 0. That's interesting. We know a 1 and 9 are together on that one in this row. We can't have a 9 here. We can have a 9 here, but then the 1 would have to be here because there's a 1 here already. But this would have to be 0 if that's the case, so that won't work. We can't have a 9 here because we'd have to have a 1 here or here. Can we have a 9 here and a 1 here? No, because we've already got 1 9s there. What about here and here? No, for the same reason. So 1 and 9 have to be one of those two. Okay. And now since we've got a 1 here, we know that one of these is a 9 and one of these is a 1. We still don't know which ones, but we can take this off. Oop. Take these off and put ones here. Whoop. And 9s here. Okay. All right, let's look at this 8. We got the 0, 2, and 4 already. And let's look at this 5 actually. We'll look at this 8 in a minute. This 5 means that we either have a 5 or a 2 and a 3, right? Well, we can't do that yet because we don't know whether this is a 1 or this is a 1. So we could have a 1 somewhere else here. So let's look at this one. We've got a okay, one of these is a 9. One of these is a 9 and the other one's a 1, so we can't solve those yet. But here, let's look and see if we can fill in this 8. What do we need for an 8? We either need an 8 or a 5 3 or 6 2. So if we have a 1 or a 9 here and 2 digits here, then this would have to be a 1 or a 9, which it can't be because we've got a 9 here and a 1 here already. So we can't have 2 digits here, but we could have an 8 here. If we had a 1 or 9 here and an 8 here, then we'd have a 1 or 9 there, so we can't have that because of these two. So we know it has to go down from here. If we have 2 digits here, this would have to be a 1 or a 9. It'd have to be a 1 because we've got a 9 here already. But we couldn't have an 18 with only 1 digit here. So we know that can't be a 1. And therefore we can't have 2 digits here, so we know that this is an 8. And because of this 8 here, we know this is 1 or 9. It's got to be 1. So that's a 9 and that's a 1. And now we know that this is a 9 because of that 9. And we know this is a 2. And therefore we know this is a 1. Okay. So far so good. Let's see, what else do we know here? You notice we're kind of picking on very large numbers or very small numbers. Okay, let's look at this 7 here. We've got a 1 here already. We know a 9 can't fit here or here, so it has to fit there. It can't fit here either. So I think that has to be a 9, because if we put a 9 all the way down here, then we couldn't get 7. We'd have more than 7 in the sum. So that is a 9, and that's a 7. So, okay. Let's see here. Let's look at this row right here. We've got a 9 here already, so one of these has to be a 1. We know it can't be one of these two. It can't be that one. So it has to be this or this. It can't be these either because of that one. So we know the 1 has to be either here or here. Now let's look at the 9s here. We can either have 2 or 3 digits. We can't have 3 digits because the 1 would have to be there, so we know the 1 goes right there. What digits would those be? 7-2, can't be a 7-2. 6-3 or 5-4, both of those would fit. Okay. Let's look at this row right here. We've got a 1 here and a 1 here already, so one of these two has to be a 1 right here. This can't be a 1 here because that would have to be 0, so we can put a 1 here. Alright, let's look at this. Here's another small number. We can't have a 9 along here because there's a 9 there already. Can't have a 9 here or here, so it has to be here or here. So this sum of 5 has to be either 2 or 3 digits, and 5 can't have 3 digits. It's either a 5 or a 2 and 3. So we can put the 9 there, and there's a 2 there already, and fill those in. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to look and see if we can fill in the 1s and 9s, get rid of all of those. Okay, so we have a 9 here or here, and a 9 here or here. And we have a 1 here or here. We have a 1 here or here. So let's look at these 9s right there. We've got 21 there. 9 can't go here because 21 is going to take more than 2 digits. 8 and 7 is already 15, which is far from 21, so we know the 9 has to be right there. We could also look at this side and see that the 9 can't fit here because the sum here is 18, and this would be, it'd have to be 0, so we know the 9 goes there. Alright, now let's look at the 1s. Again, 1 can't go here because there's a 9 there, and the sum has to be 18. That isn't 0, so we know the 1 goes there, and therefore the 1 goes here. Okay. Let's see what we can do now. Oh, here's 2, 3 twins. 2, 3 there and 2, 3 there. We got 2, 3 twins right here. And look at this. We got a sum of 9 here. That can be 7, 2, 6, 3, 5, 4. We got a 7 there already, so it's either 6, 3 or 5, 4. Can't be 5, 4 because we got 2, 3 twins right there. So this has to be a 6 and a 3. And we put in the 2 right there. All right. And what do we have left? 4, 5, 8. 4, 5, 8. Don't think we can solve any of those yet. Okay, 4, 5, 8. All right. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got 20 between here and here. And plus 10 is 30, so we have 15 outside of here. And we've already got 5, so we have 10 left. Okay, with 10 we need either an 8 and 2. We've already got a 2. 7 and 3, we already got a 3. 6 and 4. So there's a 6. So that's a 4, that's a 6. Okay. And now what's left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. 5, 7, and 8. Oh, look at this. There's a loner cell, and there's a 7 there. So that's a 7. And then the 5, 8 will go right there. Okay, now we've got 5, 8 here. 4, 5, 8 there. 5, 8. What do we got down here? 4, 7. 4, 7 there. Okay. Let's look at this row. If they're small numbers, we can look inside the 1 and 9. If they're large numbers, we can look outside. Like in this case, we've got 4 digits we need to deal with with a sum of 21. And what's left? 1, 9, 31. 14 is left, and we've got an 8 in here already. So we need 6 here. Do we have a 6 here? We don't. Let's put a 6 in right there. 8, 7, 6, 5 and 1 won't work, so 4 and 2, and 3 and 3 won't work, so 4 and 2 are the only things possible for a 6, and there's a 2 there, so we can fill those in. Alright, let's here we've got a 15. 8, 7, 7, 6, 2. There are only 2 digits here, so we know it has to be 8 and 7. So these are 8, 7 twins. So one of these is 7 or 8, and here we need 17, and we've already got a 6. So we need 11 more. And this has got to be a 7 or an 8. So this has to be 8 and 3 or 7 and 4. One of these has to be a 3 because these 3's here. So we have ghost 3's there. So that has to be a 4 then. It can't be a 3. And so we can fill those in. Now I got a 2 there and 2 there, so we can fill in that 2. There's a 3, the loner cell right there. Okay, and now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 5 8's there with the ghost 5's there. We know that's an 8, that's a 5. Okay. 5, 6, and 7. So that's a 5 or a 6. Okay. Let's see. Well, here's one we can do. We have left a 7 there. Seven. Okay. Let's look at this one right here. We've got 18 and 10 is 28. So that's 28 and 38, 45, 17. 17 outside. There's a 3 already, so we need 14 more. Don't have a thing for 14. We only have 2 digits left for 14, so let's see, we can be 8 and 6. Can't be 7 and 7, so that's the only possibility. And got an 8 there already. Okay, so that'll work. What's left here? 5, 7. So we can fill those in. Then I got a 7, 7 there, so that's a 7, 5. Here we've got 14. 7 and 5 is 12, so that's got to be a 2. Here we've got, let's see, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4. There's a 4. Okay, so we have 3 and 6 here. 3, 5, 6 there. Let's look at this one right here. We've got 23, so outside is 33 and 45, so we have 12 outside of there. Let's see if we can do that with 12 with 3 digits. 2, 4, or 6. 2, 2, 2, 4. So 2 would go there, 4 would go there, 6 would go there. That would work. 2, 3, and 7. 2 and 7, so that's a 3. That'd have to be a 2, and that'd be a 7. That works too. 3, 4, and 5. 4, 3, 5. All 3 of those still work. So okay, here column 4, we've got 11 left inside. 8, 3, 7, 4, 6, 5. You've got a 7, 4 there, and we got a 5 there, so it's got to be an 8, 3. And then we just fill in the 6 there, and there's a 3 there. Okay, these are 3 6s. These are 5 6s. Alright, let's just go through the numbers now. We can almost treat this as a regular Sudoku now. Okay, all the ones are done. 2, 2. There's a 2 right there. And therefore a 2 right there. A threes, 3, 3, 4s, 5s, 5, 6s, 6 anywhere there, 7s, 8s, here's an 8, and so 6 goes there. Okay, so what do we have left here? 4, 5, 7. Can't do those. Okay, so we'll continue on with our 8s. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. So that's, oh, there's an 8 there. Okay. So there's an 8 there. Okay, so there's an 8, and the rest, these leftovers, 4 and 5. Okay, so we got 3 and 6 here still. 5, 6. Now look at this here. We got only one number between the 8 and 9 here, 18. So 4 and 8 is 12, so that's a 6. That's a 5. Now we can do our 3 6s here. So one of these is a 6 and one is a 7. Okay. 9 1, 9 1. All right, let's see here. 3. There's a 3 right there. So that's a 4. 4, 4. 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, and 7 are missing here. So 5, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. So that's a 5. 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. Let's look at this row. 3, 5, 3 and 5. 3, 5. 4, 7. 6, 7 here, 6, 7 here. 4, 6, 7. Okay, help do that one. 5 there. 5, 5, okay. So 6, 7 there. 4, 7, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7. 6, 7. Let's look at this column here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 6, 7, 4, 6, 7, 4, 7. And these are 4 7s. Okay. So let's see, we've got 21 here. Six and 7 left. Oh, that's not going to work here. Okay, let's look at this one. We got 12 left on the outside of this one. 23, 33, and 12 is 45. So we need a 7 there. 2 and 3 is 5, so we need a 7 there. Interesting that we got that far in this puzzle and we still couldn't solve these, so we had to go back to the 1 to 9 sums to get that 7 there. Okay, this is a 4, 7, so 4, 7, and then 4, 6, 7 to finish it. Okay, well, 1 to 9 Sudoku, or between 1 and 9 Sudoku, kind of an interesting concept. There are lots of Sudoku variants, and this is one of them. But it's interesting that we could solve a puzzle with only one given because we had other information outside of the grid. Well, I hope that was interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.